and I tagged the original artist, and she reported for copyright infringement and like had it taken down. And I was deeply disturbed. Like I felt like she was being so mean and so nasty. I couldn't believe this was happening. And I felt like it was a challenge. I felt like she was challenging me to get more followers than her.
Welcome, you guys. Welcome to the Paid in Full Almost podcast. I'm your host, Taylor or Tay, but you already knew that. And today we have another special guest, Destiny Darcel. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tell the people about yourself.
Hey, Tay girl. Thank you for having me. My name is Destiny Darcel, like she said. I'm a digital illustrator. I illustrate Black women all the time. I'm inspired by us, for us. Yes, and yes, girl, what you got for me today?
Listen, we're going to ask you about how you got into this journey. But before we get into that, we're going to do a speed round of this or that. Okay, you ready?
I think.
Okay, it's not that hard. It's just like, get to think. Okay, so morning or night person?
Morning.
Color scheme or go with the flow?
Color scheme.
Invest or ball out?
Invest.
Self-education or traditional education?
Self.
Game plan or go with the flow?
Game plan.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, those are all things that I'll be like, yeah, what's the game plan? That's my
right. You be like,
what's the game plan?
Right, because we just not finna do nothing. So what's going on?
Yeah, that's my favorite thing to say. So what's next, honey? We gotta plan it out.
True, but do you find yourself like, if it's too much of a game, like, do you find yourself like kind of trapped, like getting too focused on a plan compared to like going with the flow?
No, I definitely give myself permission to go against the grain, and I give myself room to, because like I'm inspired by different things all the time. And so like I give myself room to be like, actually, I'm more inspired by this than that. So this is what I'm going to do instead.
Okay, so my first question today would be, how did Destiny get started? Where did you learn how to draw? How did you figure out that you were into like digital illustration?
Funny story. It's definitely my villain origin story. So I taught myself how to draw, and I didn't teach myself until quarantine. So this is all new. I had never drawn before, like maybe outside of like third grade, like or something like that. Yeah. Never drawn before. I went to college for journalism. And started grad school for user experience design. So like I definitely always had that creative bug. I'm really good in Photoshop. It was just a thing that I was into, and I was really mostly like cutting like pictures of myself out and have like multiple pictures of myself and like cute little things like that. And that's kind of how like the Instagram got started. I was like posting cute little things I was making on Photoshop. But Photoshop and drawing are not the same thing at all. Very different.
They're definitely not.
So during quarantine, I was bored, like nobody's working, we wasn't doing nothing. So I was like, well, let me revamp my Instagram up. Like, I don't have anything better to do. Let me revamp the Instagram. And of course I named it after myself. And I was scrolling one day and I saw a really cute illustration, and I was just like, oh, let me throw this into Photoshop and let me just kind of edit some little things to make it look more like me, and and repost it so I can like start my little aesthetic. And I tagged the original artist, and she reported for copyright infringement and like had it taken down. And I was deeply disturbed. Like I felt like she was being so mean and so nasty. I couldn't believe this was happening. And I felt like it was a challenge. I felt like she was challenging me to get more followers than her. That's what I felt.
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that I can't do it. That's what I'm hearing. And that's how I took it. And I ran with it. And like, that's literally how the illustrations got started. I called my dad and I asked him to buy me an iPad, because I was also working at Apple at the time that COVID started. So I got my little discount and I called my dad and I was just like, please buy me an iPad and an Apple Pencil, because this girl's trying me. I need an iPad.
And we about to get it on.
That is like, I need an iPad. And so he bought me an iPad, and I literally start drawing every day. I just start trying to like figure out like my aesthetic. I start figuring out what I could and couldn't draw. I started just like, kind of just like evolving from there. And it just literally took off from there.
Wow, that is crazy to think that you just started drawing during quarantine. Child, maybe I should have done something in quarantine.
Girl, yes, y'all should have picked something up.
I should have picked something up. Well, my defense, during quarantine, I was working at a healthcare place. So I was like working
at work.
Yeah, I was at work during quarantine. So
yes, I was not at work. Apple was still paying us. Apple paid us the whole time that we weren't at work. So like I was literally just home.
and you know what? Maybe I should work for Apple because
Apple was the best company I've ever worked for. 10 out of 10 recommend. Go get y'all a job because I loved it there.
Yes, but that's crazy to think that you started during quarantine, but it's also like sparks like an idea like, dang, if you're really determined, you can really do anything. Like you could pick up a new trait, a new skill, and just roll with it.
Yes. And I'm really motivated by challenges, like challenge accepted. Like, I feel like you're going against me. I'm really motivated by that. And so I read one day, it's like, you can't underestimate the motivation behind being the villain in someone's story. And I'm like, that is so true because in hindsight, she was obviously just trying to protect her brand. She was not trying to be malicious. I understand that now, but at the time, she was the villain in my story.
Right.
And it motivated me. It's no longer my motivation, but it was at the time.
I mean, sometimes it just take that one. It just take that one. Okay, you trying to play me? I'm finna show you. It just takes one.
And then.
And now, Swapping, you follow me.
Hello.
So going through this process, your things are starting to pick up. When did we start from, okay, I'm doing this for fun, to, okay, now I want to make this into like my passion, into my career, or monetizing that? How did we go from that to this?
Well, people started reaching out to me and like asking for like illustrations of themselves, their families or whatever. And like, I think I was charging like $25 at the time. Like, I wasn't looking to make money off of it. It was literally just like, I was just trying to have a cute Instagram. Like, that literally was just it. I wasn't looking to make any money off of it. So when I was charging people that, like, I wasn't getting that many clients, but like the clients started picking up. And so like $25 was like no longer worth it. And I wasn't disciplined at the time because being an entrepreneur takes a lot of discipline. And my intentions weren't to be an entrepreneur. So I wasn't disciplined. So like, I would like be like, oh yeah, the deposit is $12. It's like half, it's $12. Like, give me about a week. And I would take like 2 months to make it. Like, like I was not on top of it at all. I was not very interested in it. Like $25. Like, I was just like, I'll get it done when I get it done.
Right. Apple check still coming in, child. $25.
Yes, I was still getting paid. Like, I was at work every day. Like, I was just like, I'm about to watch Netflix. Like, but thank you for the $12. I'm gonna go buy a burrito with my Netflix. Like, that's how it started out, is monetizing. But then it really, really started picking up. Like, I started getting a lot of clientele, and the $25 was not worth it, my time, and it wasn't motivating me.
Yeah.
Because, like, you have to be disciplined, and you have to be on that timeline, which is a super long journey. But since I had to kind of start being more intentional. So like, I raised my prices up a little bit. I think it's like maybe $50. And I started like kind of writing down all the clients at one time. And so then I had to be a little more intentional than that, because that's still unorganized.
Right.
And you have to like schedule like calls, and then you're scheduling edits. And then next thing you know, people want you to be on their podcast. And then next thing you know, brands are reaching out to you. And it's just like, the money was coming in. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, I had to be a lot more intentional, and I had to force myself to be consistent and disciplined with it, because like, I was starting making more money than I was making at Apple.
True.
So as soon as I started making more money than I was making at Apple, I asked my mom about like, do you think I should quit Apple? Like, what do you think I should do? And she was just like, if you can save 6 months of rent, I support it, do it. Mm-hmm. And so I did. So like, after she said that motivated me as well. So I was just like, okay, let me be on top of it so I could save this 6 months of rent. Like, cause that's what my mama said. If my mama said it's okay, that means it's okay. And so then I did that. And like, at the end of the 6 months, my mom was just like, okay, quit. Like, you can do it. Like, you got this. And at this exact same time, I think Sisters on BET reached out to me. And that's when yes, and that's when I was really in go mode, because I was like, this could be something. And so that's when I really started going hard and like really working on my discipline and really working on my consistency, and definitely a learning journey.
Right. So what tools did you use, or how did you discipline yourself?
Well, in quarantine, there was no bedtimes. It was all fun time. So me and my roommate, we would go to bed at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, wake up at 2 or 3 the next day, like stay up all night again, watching documentaries, like, and do that over and over again. But people who are in business, people who are making money, they're not waking up at 3 p.m. They're waking up at 6 a.m.
Right.
And so that's where it started. It started with me like waking up on time and like working, like waking and having like a schedule for myself in the day. But it was still very loose. It was still very much like, okay, as long as you're up by 7, like, and at least like trying, like it's okay. Still very loose, still lacking discipline, but trying. And that kind of evolved into like, okay, make a content calendar, make a calendar of like, the days that you want to draw this or that, or post this and that. And then that evolved to you work for this amount of hours a day, you work from this time to this time, take a break at this time, work from this time to this time. And it just went from there.
Child, the day really goes by quick.
Like so quick, especially when you're on deadlines and like, other people are looking to you for stuff. The day goes by so quick. You wake up at 7, you look up and it's 4.
That's what I'm saying. Like, dang, I just woke up.
Yes. That's why discipline is so hard, because the day go by so fast. You just want to relax. You just want to watch your show.
Right.
The day going by so fast.
Being that you weren't really trying to be an entrepreneur, what is something that you wish you knew before starting?
I wish that I would have known, because I feel like every lesson was necessary. I feel like it was all necessary.
But maybe if there's one that you wish you just like, dang, I didn't have to do this.
I wish that I would have started the printing myself. Because the printing of it was a journey. That took a year to get down packed in and of itself. I wish that I would have started printing myself, or maybe have researched like, printing and printing colors and all that, because I feel like it cost me a lot of time, it cost me a lot of money, and it cost me a lot of like me not being really pleased with the product, but still having to send it out because I wasn't sure what to do next. I think I would have like put a lot more effort and time into doing it myself, or researching someone else to do it, because it took me a long time to get that right.
That is a good like takeaway, because I guess I'm not in the art space, so I don't even know what it takes to come out.
Yes.
So yes. I know that was probably difficult, because everybody looks for prints like for t-shirts and stuff, but for art, like where did you even look or find, or eventually find somewhere?
Well, I started out with like a local print shop here, and like all the papers are different. Like there's different weights, there's different like fabrics of paper, like there's different inks, there's different locations have different types of ink that go on different types of paper, and they cut the paper differently from other places. And I went through like 5 different printing companies and bought my own printer like after the 3rd company, because I was like, I'm gonna do this myself, don't worry about it. But by that time I had too much clientele, and it was too daunting to like figure out a printer now, because now I have to figure out the paper and the ink and everything myself. If I would have just did this from the beginning, I wouldn't be having to do this now in the middle. So then I returned the printer, and then
because we're not using that.
It was $600.
Oh, no.
I couldn't wait to get my money back. And then I think I went to 2 other printers. And also in the midst of this, I stopped shipping out the orders and printing it, and my mom started doing it because it was too much to handle, like the commissions and the printing things. It was too much to handle. So in the midst of figuring this out, my mom takes over all the printing and shipping. So now we had to find different printers there. I was never satisfied with any of the ones I tried in Atlanta, and my mom's in Kentucky. So now we had to try print shops in Kentucky. And I hated most of them. And then we actually started going to Walgreens because Walgreens, they were at good price. They used to do the prints pretty well. Like I was pleased with them. Then like their printer stopped working at all the Walgreens in America. I don't know.
It be like that. It always be like that.
Yes, they stopped working. So now I had to find another printing company, and I finally found one, and I'm so happy. And I don't want to see another printing company
ever in your life. But I mean, that has taught you a lot, though.
Yes, I learned a lot.
So you finally found one in Atlanta or just somewhere else?
I found one. It's nationwide. So it's just online. It was just an online printing company, and they go super fast. Love them. My mom, she does her thing. So I let her have that over there.
So during this process, what systems have you put in place to make the business run smoothly, since you are getting a lot of clientele and things are picking up? Like, what processes did you put in place?
Like I said, the content calendar, like that was such a tremendous game changer because I just did that. That is recent. Like I started that in January. Tremendous game changer completely. And then like initially when I first started everything, I was accepting orders like via DM and everything. And like when people's businesses say no DMs, like it's just no, don't DM them because it's so hard to keep up with DMs. It's so hard to figure out who these people are because nobody's real name is on Instagram. And it's hard. And like sometimes like you'll want to see the message, but you're not really ready to reply. And it tells them that you read it. You can't turn off the read receipt. So now they think you're ignoring them. And so now like your client is aggravated with you and you're just like, I was at a party when I opened it. Like I was gonna reply when I got home.
But when I got home, I forgot. And that was
I forgot. And now I don't even remember what your name is because I got 50 more DMs after that. And so that made it super, super hard. And so I only accept commissions via email. I have my email inboxes organized. I have the flag colors organized. I have all that organized to know exactly what I need to do, when I need to do it, because that is difficult. It's difficult for customers to be like, you said this will be done in 3 weeks and it's been 10 weeks or something like that. And you're just like, oh, I didn't put you in the correct folder or I didn't know. And so that's why I stopped using DMs.
But I feel like you learn a lot, and during the process, you figure out ways to make life easier. So during your process, like you found a printing company. So now that you send them the designs and they print it, and then it gets shipped to your mom. And then your mom just send them one out.
Yes, she do her thing. Yes.
Does she ever get like tired? Does she like, I'm tired? Like if she would have said like, okay, I'm finished mailing them out, then what? Would you start mailing them or would you find somebody else?
I have been concerned about her eventually saying that because she's been working from home this whole time since COVID till now. She's been working from home this whole time. So it's been easy for her to just be like, oh, I'm bored right now at work. Like, let me just ship some things. Try to reassure me that it's going to be fine. If she has to go back in, like she'll still be able to do it. I am worried. We'll have to figure something out because I can't do it.
You think, this is beyond me. I just can only do it.
I can't do it. We'll have to figure something out. I will have to hire my little brother. Somebody has to do it. I cannot do it.
Yeah. I mean, you can always, a lot of people like to be hands on and hands off. So like I'll do what needs to get done, but after that, please someone take it. Another question I want to ask is, where I see this everywhere, your slogan is never perfect, always authentic. Explain to me why that is. Why is that your slogan?
My friends actually hate it. And I think it's so cute. They're just like, if you are authentic, you don't have to say you're authentic. And I'm just like,
I thought it was cute. I was like, okay, she got it there. I thought it was cute.
Cute. And they're just like, no. And I'm just like, y'all be hating. Okay. Y'all are hating. Y'all being so supportive.
You should tell them every big brand has a slogan.
Hello. And I'm like, y'all been so supportive up until this point. Now you don't like my slogan. Anyway, I heard it somewhere. I don't know where I heard it at, or I heard like a variation of it. Like, I don't know if it was like never perfect, always trying or always present or something like that. But I really found that authenticity pretty much like kind of got me to this point, like it's staying true to myself and what like I think is cute, what I think, is like the best way to go creatively and stuff like that, like staying true to that and like what makes me happy and is cute to me has really like got me to this point. And so I feel like authenticity is like a huge thing. Originality is a huge thing. And I feel like it helps with a lot of success and like standing out. So I don't want ever want anybody to think like I'm perfect or anything. Like I just like been drawing my whole life and now I'm just a superstar illustrator and everything has been perfect. Like, no, I just started yesterday.
Right,
and,
like hold up.
Yes. And I've just been authentic and true to myself and what I think is cute and like representing Black women. Like that's just what I've stayed true to. And I think it's like really got me a long way. So never perfect, always authentic.
Yes, I really like that slogan. It's really nice. It's catchy too. Cause like, okay, this is cute. And then you and then you see it repeatedly. I'm like, oh, okay, this. I like this. I like this. This is really cute. Like, you mentioned earlier that you went to school for journaling. How was that? How do we get to journaling, to Apple, to illustrate? Well, you showed us, you explained to us why you illustrating, but why, what happened to the degree journaling? What happened?
I in undergrad, I got an internship for graphic design, and it was for the Martin Luther King Center on campus. So I was just making their flyers because I was just good in Photoshop, like it was my thing. So I started that internship and I had such an amazing time. It was such a good experience. And I think I started it maybe my sophomore and junior year, and I finished out the rest of college in that same internship. And the summer before my senior year, having that on my resume and having like the products that I made for them, I applied for another internship in New York with a startup called Claim It. And the CEO was a Black man from New York, and he went to MIT, but he dropped out. And I don't think he kept saying this to me, or it's maybe just replaying in my head as if he kept saying it to me, but he kept saying, you should just leave college. Like, you should just leave. And I'm just like, what do you mean? Like, I only have a year left. He's like, no, you should just leave college. Like, what do you need it for? Like, you're so talented. Like, you're so good in Photoshop. You're able to do branding, marketing. Like, you should just leave. And of course, yeah. And he was just like, he's like, I'll hire you. Like, just leave, come back up here. And of course, my mother was not going for that. Like, I had 1 year left. Of course, she's not going for that.
I can imagine a phone call. Like,
yeah, she was like, girl, anyway.
Right.
Like, it wasn't even a conversation. It was like, anyway, what are you eating for dinner?
Right. But what about what I just said?
Yes, no, she wasn't going for that. And I just love that mindset that he had. And I think we only had that conversation one time, but it kept replaying in my head. And of course, I went back to school and I was thinking like, maybe I should change my major to graphic design because like, I really was good at it. It like was a supernatural talent, but like, 1 year left, graphic design and journalism are not compatible. And I was not staying in college any extra time.
Right, that costs money.
So yeah. So then, as soon as I graduated, I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, but as soon as I graduated that day, I told my dad, I'm not going into journalism. I know that is what my degree is in, but I will not be pursuing that because it's not lucrative enough. Right. And I'm motivated by money. Like that is just the bottom line. And it's lucrative, and I'm not doing it. And he was just like, okay, but you're going to grad school, right? And I'm like, what? I did what I could. I'm not going. And so he guilted me. Like he guilted me so bad. My stepmom, she was like trying to talk to him, like, she could still be okay. Like she has a degree. Like she doesn't need to go to grad school. He guilted me. So, dang, it's a threat. Yes, in the midst of him guilting me, I got a job at Apple, which life-changing. Okay, I'll just say that, life-changing. And so I didn't end up going to grad school the year after I graduated. I decided to go the following year in 2019, and I decided to go for computer science because I was just like, I love Apple. I want to work for Apple for the rest of my life. I love it here. Period. Right. I'm gonna be in.
I'm hooked. Give me the Apple badge.
Yes, I'm gonna be in Cupertino. Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. Not good at computer science. That was actually not my ministry. Was disinterested. I was already not interested in going to grad school in the first place. So the fact that I even got into a computer science program was wild to me. And
like what?
Yeah, and I quit. And so then I was just like, but maybe there's a way I could like intersect the two of like tech and art. Like I'm still good at these things. And so then I went back to grad school again for user experience design. And that was when 2020?
Yeah.
Yes. So that was the spring semester 2020 when COVID started, when I started that program. And when COVID hit, I was completely disinterested. I didn't want to do it anymore. It was not fun. I did not have a good time doing classes or taking those tests on my computer.
Sure.
And you can only go to school if you're motivated, because I dropped out again. And
well,
you
didn't want to go. So
I didn't want to go.
It's like, did you really drop out, or did you just say like, okay, Dad, I got to do me?
Yes, I'm like, grad schools, I didn't want to go.
No, at this point, because my parents asked me like, am I going to grad school? And my grandparents, I was like, no. I'm like, school got its 4 years. That's enough for me. Crazy that your dad guilt tripped you, because that happens a lot of time. Like parents like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do this, and then you're stuck and like, I don't really want to be here. The question would be, do you kind of feel stuck sometimes when you're drawing? Like, where does your inspiration come from?
I never feel stuck, really. I do feel like I'm still evolving, and like my eye for things are still evolving, because the way that I do my art is not necessarily, it's half freehand, half overlay, but like I'll take like, say I see a picture on Pinterest and I'm like, oh, I love this pose, but like I love this outfit, but I love her hair, but I like her shoes and like how her hand is placed. Like I'll take all of those things and put them together and make it into like one person. So like, because I started that because like you'll see a lot of artists and like we have literally the same picture but different art styles, because we're literally all drawing the same person we saw on Pinterest. I didn't like that, so I had to kind of evolve, and that got me out of the box quite a bit, because I felt like I was stuck, and like I was stuck like scrolling on Pinterest trying to find like the perfect picture to draw, like the perfect hairstyle, making sure she had like everything I wanted like the pictures to have. But then I would see like the next person draw it 2 weeks later, and I'm just like, that's the same exact picture. And it definitely made me feel like I was in a box. It made me feel like, like there is like, it's, like we're all about to be doing like the exact same thing, and there's nothing different about it. And like choosing to like try to do something completely different has helped me evolve, and it has helped me get out of the box, because I'm not stuck with like one person or one pose or one hairstyle or anything like that. So that has really helped. You're never stuck. My mom always says you're never stuck. Like you're not stuck doing anything, being anywhere, nothing. Yeah. You're not stuck. There's no such thing. Right. And I'm like, girl, you're right.
Did you get into like brand deals? You did Sisters, you did something for Fenty Skin and Beauty, and you did a collection with Old Navy with other artists. So talk about how you got your foot in the door with that.
I have no idea. Somebody saw me, somebody was following me, somebody typed in a hashtag, somebody found me for all of those things, because I never reached out for any of those things. For Sisters, they actually reached out on Etsy, because at first I was selling my prints on Etsy. They reached out on Etsy, and it was they go through a branding and marketing company. And that was the first time a brand had reached out to me. So I thought it was a scam. Like I didn't know what it was.
He was like,
I was just like, why would you reach out on Etsy? Like that's weird. So I thought it was a scam. I reluctantly replied, and I'm glad I did. But that's how I got on board with that. For Fenty, I went to undergrad with the social media manager of Fenty Skin. I think it's Skin or Beauty, one of the two. I went to undergrad with her, and she reached out like 2 days before they needed the pieces. It was for Juneteenth, and I think they reached out like 2 days before, and she was just like, can you do these pieces for us? And I'm just like, yeah. Hello. You barely had to ask, sister. Like, what do you need? So I was super excited to do that. So that was just like, you know, a who you know kind of thing. Because I went with her because we were never really friends in undergrad or anything. But since I went to a PWI, all the Black people knew who all the Black people were. So that was,
I can relate.
yes. So that was just about a who you know thing. Old Navy literally fell in my lap, just like this giant blessing wrapped in a bow. Me of September of last year, and pretty much we're like, what's your rates? Because we want you to do these shirts. Like that was like it. Like it was not a long drawn out thing. It was a, we want you, girl. So how much you charging?
Right. Like I got the bank account. You provide the the price.
Yes, it was literally the best experience. Like I would do it over 50 million times. Like it was the best experience. 10 out of 10 recommend. They were so intentional about like, you know, who was on set, who they hired, like the food that they got us for lunch. Like they were so intentional. Like, and it was really nice to see. And I didn't even know that they were being intentional at first. I just thought that it's a lot of Black people working for Old Navy. I'm like, this is nice. It's a lot of Black people.
Ooh, okay.
Yes, but I didn't know that they were so intentional. Like they literally hired like Black people and people of color, like down to the lunch that we got that day. Like,
oh, okay, they were serious.
They were serious about the intentionality, and chef's kiss.
Well, that's good. And sometimes you don't have to go looking. Sometimes it comes to you.
It comes to me. I do think people have been saying that they think that I need an agent because, like, you know, obviously I can't do everything myself or like have my foot in the door with brands because they don't know me, I don't know them.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about it. It feels like that's my next kind of obstacle. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
It's definitely a thought.
Yeah, it's definitely a thought. I'm a little nervous, but I've definitely been thinking about it and like researching it. So we will see, but I do want to be intentional about it. I am nervous about messing that up. That's not something I want to mess up.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about it, but I'm trying to move with intention about, you know, seeking it out. So
yeah, I agree. It's always nervous taking that next step.
Yeah, I'm like, this could be an expensive mistake if I find the wrong thing or say the wrong thing or anything. So I'm just like, I just want to be on top of it.
Yeah. And then one of my last questions would be, what is the end goal? What do you see in the future? And what does freedom look like to you?
I think that I would love for my brand to be like a Lisa Frank kind of powerhouse, like, you know, have folders and pencils and notebooks and stuff, and like Target. That would be cool. I'm actually going to apply for that because you can apply for Target. You can apply to get in Target. You can apply to get in Target. So I'm definitely going to apply until they let me in there. Okay.
You're going to hear me.
Hello, I'm gonna apply every year. Somebody gonna see it. Okay. So
it's already in Target. We're gonna speak it into existence. It's in Target, girl.
I'm gonna be in Target. So excited. But like that's like the end goal of my brand. But I also think that life is short, but life is also long. Like you can be many things. Like you don't have to just be one thing and do one thing. And like a part of me, I'm not sure where this has come from, but a part of me kind of wants to be like a school counselor, and like not for like, obviously not the money because they don't make any money at all, but like kind of just like, I think that not only it would be fun, but I think it would be challenging in a good way. I think it would like open my eyes to things because I'm super spoiled, have been super sheltered, super like calling my daddy if something's going wrong. Like I've never had to deal with anything by myself. Like
I don't have to get it out the mud.
Yes, I didn't have to get nothing out the mud because mama and daddy, they got it. So I've never had to worry about anything literally. And I think it'll give me a new outlook on things. I probably wouldn't do that until I was like 40, but you know.
Anytime you could be like a mentor or find
and there's like different, like, there's so many different ways that I could possibly do that. I feel like that's what I want to dip my toes in at some point in this lifetime.
Okay. We love to see it. And freedom looks like to you?
Oh, freedom looks like getting up every morning and doing whatever I want to do. If I want to work today, I'm gonna work today. If I don't call me. Like, that's what it's looking like.
And how do you think you're gonna get to that point? If you could just put it in.
Oh girl, I'm here.
Oh, Period. You said I just showed up. And
I showed up. I showed up much earlier than I expected. I expected to show up around 35. Like that's when I expected. I'm about 10 years early. So I wasn't expecting this, but at least it came before I was married or had kids, because my only responsibility is literally myself and do what I want to do. So
which is nice. Hopefully, girl, one day I'll see you there. Hopefully it don't take me forever.
You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. Just be consistent. You'll be there. We're gonna be here together.
Right. Because it's just like to travel, and I can't be working in
Yes, I love traveling. Yes, it gives you freedom to do everything, like just freedom to,
just enjoy life. Name a spot that you've traveled to that you really like and that you would go back, and then name a place that you really want to go.
I always say to myself that like I am so uppity about like places that I go. Like I hate everything. Like I never like I'm a good travel buddy, like definitely good and gonna have a good time and be great, but like I secretly hate it. The only place that I feel like in America that I've been that I like, I don't hate this, like I could live here, I love it here, is I think it's called East Orange, New Jersey. It's so beautiful there. The suburbs are beautiful. And I'm like, this is why they call New Jersey the Garden State. Okay.
Oh, period.
In the city, yeah, it's like ugly in the city, like super gray, ugly, cracked up. But like in the suburbs, like I'm like, okay, this is the Garden State right here. So nice. So nice. And I really would love to go to South Korea.
South Korea? Girl, you got it for the both of us. I don't think I would ever go to Asia. I don't think I'm touching Asia.
Really? Yeah, my mom was stationed there when she was in the military. She was stationed there for a while and she didn't take me with her. So I always was just like, I wonder what it's like there. And like, I love Korean food because she came back trying to eat up all the Korean food she could. So I'm just like, I would just love to go and see like what she saw, like what was there.
Question, which I kind of already think I know your answer, but my last question to wrap this up, do you think college was worth paying in full almost?
I think undergrad, yes. I didn't pay for undergrad. I got a full ride for undergrad. So I didn't pay for it. So it was never like a burden for me or anything that I could consider at the time. I think being in it and considering it and like being out of it and considering it are very different experiences. But since I didn't have to pay for college, like being in it, I never thought like, is this worth it? Because like, what do I have to lose? Like, yeah. Like, of course it's worth it. Like, so like, but being out of college and like looking back at it and having had paid for grad school, no. But I definitely would not trade the undergrad experience for anything. Like you learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about like the world. Like you learn about like, you're not going to all the time. You're not going to graduate and be like, all right, I'm going to be a journalist. Like I'm going to be a doctor or this or that. Like a lot of the times you're going to graduate and not use that degree or like change your mind about what you want to do. Like, and that's okay. But I feel like it's a really, really, really good experience. And it's a very, it feels like a safer environment than being like an adult in the real world. Like college is like a bubble. It's like a little, everything is not always great, but like it's like a little utopia. And I'm just like, so being an adult in the real world is a lot scarier to me than being an adult in college.
This is true.
So yes, I definitely recommend undergrad 10 out of 10 because I had a ball. Okay, I would do it again. Had a ball. True. Yes, you're a fake adult. And I just feel like that is so fun. It's so fun because I'm like, we're all struggling. Like we are all struggling. So let's all struggle together and have fun. Like it's a good experience to be around that. It's a really, really good experience. So I would definitely, I'm pro undergrad, but I'm not pro getting in debt, you know? So I'm just like.
So pick them wisely is what you're saying.
For pausing, like after high school, taking a year or two off, I'm all for it, taking as long as it needs to graduate. I'm all for it not going at all and hanging out with your friends that go to the college up the street. Like I support it all. But my personal experience is I would do it again.
Okay. Well, we have a yes, she would do it again. You know, y'all know my stance. I'm not doing this again. I wouldn't do it again. But we have a yes. And on that note, thank you for coming on. Thank you for being featured. I will list all of her information, links, everything will be down below, guys. Thank you for watching this episode. We will see you on the next one.
Bye.